Hi, community group leaders and teachers. I hope y'all are doing well, having a fabulous day. Hey, I'm excited I get to introduce this week's teaching extra, Pastor's Cut introduction, so to speak, for Luke chapter 7. We are looking specifically at Luke 7, 36 through 50, looking at the woman of ill repute and Jesus' interaction with her, with a Pharisee named Simon, and a crowd that's gathered together around the dinner table, and looking at what happens in that passage. There's a couple of unique things about the passage itself that I don't necessarily get into with the Pastor's Cut that I thought were worthy of bringing up as some background information. First of all, the passage fits in within the broader context of Luke's argument and Luke's outline, specifically starting with Jesus' message on the hill in Luke chapter 6 and rolls through this. You know, that passage actually begins with a series of 4 Beatitudes. And I'm going to grab my Bible here to look at those Beatitudes. The first Beatitude actually is a foil for the centurion's faith. That blessed are you who are poor, because the kingdom of God is yours. Blessed are you who are hungry, because you will be filled. Blessed are you who weep, because you will laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you, and when they exclude you and insult you and slander your name because of the Son of Man. Well, that last one, blessed when people hate you, is actually a foil, a lot of scholars think, for this woman that has a bad reputation, a woman of ill repute. And so it may be worth looking at the broader context of Luke as you look at this passage, but there's one more unique thing as well about this passage that I don't get to address in the Pastor's Cut. That is this. As you read the passage, immediately following the passage, literally the first 2 verses following, it says Jesus goes out from there. And then it actually lists Jesus brings with him his 12, and 3 women in particular go with him. A woman who had been healed of evil spirits named Mary Magdalene, Joanna, the wife of Chuza, Herod's steward, and Susanna. 3 women in particular that Jesus chooses to bring with him on his traveling journeys as he leads people to experience the kingdom of God in his midst, in his day. So, a couple of interesting things for discussion. Now, the broadest thing that I hope that we talk about within the context of community groups with this passage in particular is the gospel message, the good news. Now, the passage both directly and indirectly addresses that issue as it deals with hidden things and unhidden things. It doesn't really say what the sin is that the woman has. In a roundabout way, Jesus alludes to the fact that everyone has a sin. This woman is hidden in the background. She literally hides behind Jesus in the back of the table where most people wouldn't see her. And yet this Pharisee highlights her, brings her to light. The Pharisee forgets to do some things or omits to do some things that would normally be common practice for hospitality. And then Jesus brings that to light as well in the conversation as he talks about forgiveness. I believe the heart of this passage is centered on the gospel. And what do we do when we encounter the grace and forgiveness that comes through Jesus? Do we run towards it? Do we run away from it? How thankful are we in the midst of that? Literally, to bring that home, just yesterday, I was sitting here in my office, right here. Someone came into the office that was looking for hope. He had been waiting tables for a while and drinking, was beside himself, thinking about suicide, and didn't know where to go. His manager suggested come to church, go to First Baptist. And so he came to church, and I had a conversation with him yesterday afternoon about what does it mean to walk with Jesus and how can we find hope in him. Over the course of an hour conversation, I asked him some questions about how does he find hope, what does he deal with that, and then I shared with him the ultimate hope that comes from freedom, from forgiveness of sins through Jesus. He never actually heard that before. Here's the crazy thing. The world around us is going crazy over so many things. The answer is Jesus. The hope that we can find in Jesus is greater than anything else around us. So I want to challenge you this week in your community group as you explore this passage from Luke chapter 7. Take a hard look at the gospel. What does it mean? How could you explain it to someone who doesn't know Jesus? The Lord may actually be stirring us to have more conversations about the gospel. So I want to challenge you this week. Take advantage of that. practice with each other, and then start praying for people you know who don't know Jesus to have a radical encounter with God. I hope you have a great week in your community group and a great time. Hey, God bless.